So we're going to go ahead and take a look at some videos. Essentially, it's going to be about how Luigi Mangione, with the United Healthcare CEO, death, that whole thing, how it seems like they're not being fair. Okay. I've done some videos on this particular situation with him and how they just seem like they're trying to, to him. One, when they had him come out, they did the perp walk on him, and they had him wearing the orange jumpsuit, no vest, but everyone around him got a vest, as though it was like, okay, they're trying to, send a sniper out or something like that. Now what we have is a violation of HIPAA. So let's first off look at what HIPAA is. Should be on this side over here. And it says HIPAA, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, is a U.S. federal law enacted in 1996 that establishes national standards for protecting sensitive patient health information. It aims to safeguard protected health information, PHI, and ensure its confidentiality, integrity, and availability. HIPAA applies to covered entities like health plans, healthcare providers, and healthcare clearinghouses, as well as business associates. So essentially what ended up happening was that the prosecutors, they went, falsified some documents, said, yeah, we got a subpoena for this day, that happened. Give me that information. And it was Aetna, that's who he's under. They just went and released his information. Now, it seems like both of them should be okay, because you have a legal department, okay, for all these health insurance companies. They all got legal departments, and that person should have looked at this stuff a little more closely. But then it's on you because you went and falsified documentation. Now, to me, I feel like homeboy needs to get, okay, that's how I feel about this whole thing, with everything that's going on. And I already did some other videos about, just looking at the footage and images that happened on that particular day. Okay. So I'm like, I don't know. And then they were over here being slimy too for that person who went and ratted them out with the tips. And the person went and saw them. It was a McDonald's employee, saw Luigi at the McDonald's, and then they went and called the cops, and then they were supposed to get like, $50,000. And then they said no. And then I found out that you don't even get the money until the person's prosecuted anyways, which could be years from the time that you actually reported. So you thought you were going to make some quick money, and you ain't going to even get that money. But with this, they never even gave him money because they said, one, you couldn't get into much later on anyways. And then two, you can't even get it because, you called the wrong department. So, I'm seeing a lot of slimy things that are going on. People are over here saying that he's a terrorist. People are over here saying, oh yeah, we got to give him the death penalty and all this other stuff because of where it took place. And I guess I'm a little confused on that, because if your state does not have the death penalty, how are you going to go ahead and offer it? You can't just go and be like, okay, now we're going to have the death penalty. That's not how that works. If you didn't already have it, you can't just go and then say, okay, we're going to put you for capital punishment. That's not how that works. So let's go ahead and take a look at this violation of the HIPAA Act that took place. Let's get into it.
Okay, y'all, so we have an insane update on Luigi, and trust me, you're going to want to hear this. So most of you guys already know who I'm talking about. It's a massive case, right? High profile. But now the prosecution, not the defense, the prosecution is the one who is getting called out. And it's not for some minor mistake. Luigi's legal team is accusing the Manhattan DA of violating federal law, specifically HIPAA. So here's what allegedly happened. The DA's office sent a subpoena to Aetna, who is Luigi's health insurance company. They were asking for records, but instead of going through the proper channels, they allegedly made up a fake court date, like literally wrote in a date that didn't exist, which was May 23rd. And they used that to pressure Aetna into handing over his private medical records. Basically, it was a fake subpoena. And we're not talking about just insurance info, not just billing info, no. Aetna reportedly gave them everything. 120 pages of deeply personal medical history. Things like diagnoses, doctor's notes, everything. And these documents were clearly labeled protected health information with a HIPAA warning on them. And here's where it actually gets worse. Prosecutors didn't notify the judge. They didn't inform the defense or give them a chance to object. They just took it, read through it quietly, and that, y'all, is a massive due process violation. So now Luigi's lawyers are asking the court to throw out that evidence altogether and maybe even sanction the DA's office. They're saying that if the prosecution is allowed to just lie to get medical records, where's the line? What stops them from faking subpoenas for anyone else? So this isn't an argument about whether he's guilty or not. This is about whether the DA's office, which is set on making an example out of him, is following the law or breaking it in order to win. And if they did just violate HIPAA, it's not just shady, it's flat out illegal. So now the judge has a decision to make. Suppress the records, punish the prosecutors, or just let it slide. Now, let me know what you guys think, because if this happened to you or your family, you would be raising hell.
Prosecutors in the Luigi Mangione case are now being accused of faking a court date to secretly get private medical records. So let's break it all down. I'm an attorney and I read what happened, so you don't have to. The defense attorneys just filed a motion accusing the Manhattan District Attorney's Office of serious misconduct, including illegally obtaining over 120 pages of confidential medical records. They say that prosecutors lied about a court date on a subpoena, used it to bypass privacy laws, and then reviewed medical files they were never supposed to see. According to the motion, 88 Joel issued a subpoena to Aetna, Mangione's insurance provider, citing a fake court date, May 23rd, 2025, so that Aetna would release the files. The records were supposed to go to the court, but instead, they went directly to the DA's office. Prosecutors then opened and reviewed the documents, which were clearly marked as protected health information. Each of the files had in large type bold letters, request for protected health information. And this isn't the only issue. The motion says that the DA's office also listened to an 11-minute attorney-client call, exposed Mangione's social security number, and failed to redact personal phone numbers in court filings. Defense is now asking for a hearing where the ADAs and an Aetna rep would testify under oath. They also want the court to consider suppressing evidence, recusing the prosecutors, or even dismissing the indictment altogether. The motion cites HIPAA and multiple New York cases to say that subpoenas must be returnable to the court, not directly to the prosecutors. If the court agrees that this was a privacy violation, it could blow open the entire case. So make sure to follow for updates, and let me know if you have any comments or questions down below.
Huge allegations coming from Luigi Mangione's legal team. They just sent this letter just a couple of minutes ago to the judge alleging some misconduct by the district attorney. That's the state case. They say that the district attorney's office subpoenaed Mangione's private insurer, Aetna, and reviewed confidential documents, protected documents, that would have been protected by HIPAA. They say that the district attorney's office did not get a court order, they did not get a waiver from the parties, and frankly, they say this information is not relevant to their case. Now, according to this nearly 7-page letter, they falsely made up a court date of May 23rd, 2025, and wouldn't tell Luigi's team why they put in that court date, but they used that court date to draft what they say is a fraudulent subpoena to be able to subpoena Aetna's documents. They are asking for sanctions after conducting a full evidentiary hearing to find out to what extent they were able to get information from Aetna. And they're asking the judge to hand over all of the communications from the district attorney's office with Aetna. We'll keep you updated when there is a response.